Hi, my name is Tim. I am currently living in California. Originally, I come from the great state of Alaska, and many of you watching this probably remember me or know me as coming from Alaska. But currently, I live in California, and I'm working as an associate pastor at Glendale Korean Church. Um, I was also a part of KAYAMM for many years. I initially went to KAYAMM when I was in the seventh grade, which was way back when, and went to junior KAYAMM. And then after that, I went to international KAYAMM in 2015, and I was a part of 20th batch, and we went to the Philippines. I also have been a part of KAYAMM in leading out in other international KAYAMM batches, but also helped out with Junior KAYAMM, Mexico KAYAMM, and East Coast High School Mission KAYAMM. So before I went to KAYAMM, to Junior KAYAMM, back in early 2000s, I actually was not really aware of what was going on. It was kind of the first time I was venturing out of the state of Alaska, and my parents wanted to send us to a camp, a Bible camp, that would help us in our spiritual lives and also to meet people and whatnot. And so by going to KAYAMM, I had that opportunity to meet people and kind of put my foot into the Korean community outside of the state of Alaska. And then fast forward to 2015, this was a year, and during this time and before that was when I was in college trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life. So I really didn't have any direction. I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do with my life. I was just kind of studying things. I was kind of failing in school. I wasn't really studying hard. I didn't really care for my studies, honestly. And I felt like I had no direction and no purpose in what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. And that's when my mom suggested possibly going to a mission trip and trying to get my life together. But that's when she reintroduced KAYAMM to me. And so from junior KAYAMM all the way up until I was in my later years in college is when she introduced it. And so I wasn't really too sure. I was a little hesitant at first because, it's a summer and, you take away 1 month of your summer and you have to go to the mission field. And it was a little bit of uncertainty in that. But I was a little excited for the fact that maybe I can figure out what I want to do with the rest of my life if I go to KAYAMM. And so that was kind of what I was like before going to KAYAMM. When I decided that I would be a missionary for KAYAMM and go to the Philippines in the summer of 2015, to be honest with you, I was pretty scared. I was a little nervous because coming from Alaska, I really didn't know anyone else from the other states and from the batch. And so when we were seeing the Facebook group, my sisters and I were looking at it and we were just like, man, we don't know anyone here, and we're just kind of these random people from Alaska. But thankfully, during the training, which is by far, I think, the most memorable thing of my whole KAYAMM experience, was that we had the opportunity to bond, to grow, to meet people from all different walks of life, and really just grow together in our faith and wrestle and struggle with the things that we believed in, but ultimately learn how to share those things with those in our communities. And so the training, as intense as it was for me, was probably the most memorable and enjoyable time of the mission trip. And even till this day, the people that went to 20th batch of KAYAMM, I still talk to some of them, and we still have a very strong friendship even till this day. When we went to the Philippines, it was definitely a cultural shock and a totally different experience, being the first time going to a foreign country to do mission work. It was definitely eye-opening, and it was really encouraging to see people who had so little compared to us be so strong in their faith. And really just, it was encouraging, it was inspiring, and especially seeing the young people and the kids in the Philippines. It was really just inspirational, and it was so odd to receive all this love from total strangers. But at the same time, it was really an experience for me to understand that the love God was wanting to show me as well. And so the Philippines was an exciting experience. We went to two different locations. We went to Lobo, Batangas, which is more of the countryside in the Philippines. But then we also went to Manila, Tondo, Manila, which is considered the dumpster of the capital city. And so we got to see two very contrasting different locations. And in both places, I was able to feel and see and experience the love of God in the lives of the people in the Philippines. And in translation, it radically transformed and changed my life as an individual. Going to KAYAMM really transformed my life, and it really changed me and the person that I am. And I can confidently say that if it wasn't for KAYAMM, then my life really wouldn't be the same. As I said before I went to KAYAMM, I really had no direction and purpose in my life. I was a college student trying to figure out what major suited me the best. I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do, and in my terms of my spiritual life, I wasn't sure if I was strongly founded in my belief. But by going to KAYAMM and having this opportunity to experience God in a way that I had never experienced Him before, really allowed me to not only see like what God wanted for me in my life, but also opened up the window of opportunity for me to have a closer walk in a relationship with Jesus. No more than a year after International KAYAMM, I went back to KAYAMM to help as a leader for Junior KAYAMM and for Mexico KAYAMM. And throughout that experience, I really felt this tug on my heart for God, that God was calling me into ministry. And this was something that I had thought of before, and I had always told myself that, yeah, I'll give God like my time, I'll give God my money, like I'll find an occupation where I can just live a life that's content and comfortable, and I can be happy and have money and whatnot. And then I'll give all of that to God later. But then I realized after that period of going to the Philippines with International KAYAMM, and then going as a volunteer to Junior KAYAMM and High School KAYAMM and the Mexico KAYAMM, and all the interactions that I had with the people and the students, it really started to show me that maybe God wasn't just calling for some of my heart, but God was calling for all of it. And it radically like blew my mind away. And from that moment on, I decided that I would dedicate my entire life to the Lord and enter into the ministry. And that's why I'm here today. Despite the flaws, and despite the uncertainty, and despite the mess that I was before I went to KAYAMM, KAYAMM was the window of opportunity. And the people that I met, the pastors, the leaders, the students that I volunteered and taught for, all of these things, because of KAYAMM, really gave me that window of opportunity to take my spiritual life to the next level, and also give me a direction in where I want to go and what I want to do for the rest of my life. And so to the future KAYAMM alumni and the future KAYAMM prospects and all of you guys out there that are watching this video, you may be in a situation where you're at a church and you're just not sure. You're just like, I don't know what I want to do with my life. Like, this church is small, the community is really not for me. Like, I don't know what to do. KAYAMM really is the place where you can grow spiritually, but also in your process of growing spiritually, God really shows you what He wants for your life. And rest assured that it may be scary, it may be intimidating, but I can promise you that if God can use a person like me, then God can use a person like you. And I'm sure you're thinking, man, I don't really even know who this guy is. Like, who is this Tim guy? Like, how bad could he have been? But just as Paul says, I'm the chief of sinners, right? But God was still able to use someone like me. He radically transformed my life. And I have no regrets of going to International KAYAMM that year in 2015. And I'm sure if you want to join KAYAMM, that it will be a life-changing experience where you can have a newfound relationship with God. That is my prayer for you, and I pray that all of you will take the time to pray and see if KAYAMM is the direction that you want to go. Blessings.